The air hums with a stillness that wraps around you. A quiet evening stretching over the earth like a sigh held too long. You're standing on a porch of weathered wood, its grain smooth beneath your feet, softened by years of steps just like yours. A faint rustling stirs the leaves brushing the ground nearby, their edges curling inward as if guarding secrets of seasons past. The breeze carries a gentle warmth against your skin, teasing the collar of your shirt, while the distant murmur of a stream weaves through the dusk. A sound so soft it feels like a memory you've forgotten to name. Overhead, the sky shifts from amber to a deep, velvety blue, the light spilling across the horizon in slow, tender strokes, tracing the silhouette of trees standing sentinel in the distance. Each breath you take draws in the earthy scent of moss clinging to the steps, mingling with the faint sweetness of fatting wildflowers tucked along the yard's edge. The cool touch of a railing presses into your palm, grounding you as the world unfolds in layers. Now the creak of a branch bending faintly under its own weight. Now the whisper of wind threading through the grass. Somewhere just beyond the reach of your sight, a presence lingers, a flicker of something familiar, a voice or a shadow you've known, hovering at the edge of this tranquil expanse. It brushes against your awareness like the echo of a laugh carried on the air, faint yet insistent, stirring a calm curiosity that settles into your chest. The scene holds you there, suspended between the warmth of the fatting day and the promise of something yet to unfold. A quiet anticipation threading through the stillness. There's a weight you've carried, isn't there? It's the kind that presses into your shoulders when the house grows quiet, when the day's demands fade and leave you alone with your thoughts. You remember the mornings when your hands moved with purpose, fixing a leak, balancing the bills, lifting someone else's burden without a second thought. Now, those same hands hesitate, tracing the worn edges of a table where laughter once spilled so freely. The strain of providing, of being the steady one, has etched itself into you, into the lines around your eyes, the ache in your back, the quiet regret that stares back in the mirror when the world isn't watching. It's not just the work, though, is it? It's the moments you gave away, the hours spent smoothing someone else's worries, while yours piled up like letters you never opened. You see it in the faded photo on the shelf, a younger you with a grin that didn't yet know fatigue, standing tall for everyone but yourself. There's a longing there, a nostalgia for when strength felt effortless, when the load didn't bow your frame. And doubt creeps in, soft as the dusk settling outside. Did you give too much? Did you lose a piece of yourself in the giving? The fatigue settles deep, a heaviness that lingers even when you rest, whispering that maybe you've stretched too thin. Yet through it all, there's that sound again, a voice, maybe, or the echo of one, calling from the edges of your mind. It's been there in every reflection, every sigh, a gentle pull, a hint of something warm and familiar, growing nearer with each breath. You feel it when you pause at the window, watching the leaves drift downward, or when the stillness wraps around you like an old coat. It's not loud, not demanding, just there, a quiet thread weaving through the strain, tugging at a memory you can't yet place. The pain is real, layered, and vast, but so is this subtle call, stirring the air like the distant ripple of water over stone, promising something beyond the weight you've known. And then she's here, a confidant from memory, stepping into the scene as if she's always been waiting just beyond the porch's edge. Her voice is soft, intimate, a low hum that blends with the rustling leaves and the faint drip of water pooling somewhere in the dark. "Hey, you," she says, and it's like the air itself remembers her, warm, nurturing, the kind of sound that once patched every frayed edge of your day. She sits beside you, her presence as real as the wood beneath your feet, her coat brushing the railing with a faint, comforting scrape. "Remember that autumn," she begins, her words painting the air with color. The scent of cider drifts in, sharp and sweet, from a day when you stood in a kitchen thick with steam. The clink of mugs against the counter, a rhythm you could lean into. Your hands, steady then, poured warmth for everyone, and her laugh, bright, unhurried, danced over the crackle of a fire in the hearth. The wool of your sweater brushed your wrists, rough yet soft, as you handed her a cup, her fingers grazing yours with a quiet thanks that lingered longer than the moment. "Then there was the garage," she murmurs, "and you're there, the cool bite of metal tools in your grip, the faint buzz of a radio threading through the air. Oil stained your knuckles as you fixed what was broken, her voice calling from the doorway with a tease about your focus, the sound of her steps on concrete, a steady beat. The sunlight slanted through the window, warm against your neck, and she draped a blanket over your shoulders when the work ran late, a simple weight that held you together. And that night by the lake," she whispers, her tone dipping softer still. The water lapped against the shore, a gentle shush beneath a sky strewn with stars, their light flickering on the ripples. You sat on damp grass, the chill soaking through your jeans, her arm brushing yours as she spoke of dreams you'd forgotten to chase. The crack of a twig underfoot, the distant hoot of an owl, it all comes back, vivid and slow, her words a thread tying you to a strength you buried. That's when it unravels, the suspense melting into clarity, a moment when she looked at you, eyes steady, and said, "You're enough, just as you are." It echoes now, rich and real, a memory of joy that's been waiting to find you again. "Here's the truth," she says, her voice a warm tide washing over you. "You've carried so much, and it's okay to set it down now." She shifts closer, the faint creak of the porch beneath her a soothing pulse, and you feel her words like a blanket unfurling over your shoulders, cozy, gentle, easing every muscle. You don't have to be the rock every moment. You've given, and given well. Let that be enough for today. Her reassurance builds, steady and sure, wrapping around the strain like the breeze threading through the trees outside. You're not less for feeling this weight. You're human, and that's a strength all its own. She pauses, letting the distant murmur of the stream fill the silence, then lifts you higher. Look at what you've built, not just with your hands, but with your heart. Every sacrifice, every late night, every quiet choice to put them first, it's a tapestry woven with care. You're still that man by the lake, dreaming big, strong enough to rest. Her tone brightens, inspiring, as the rustling leaves echo her encouragement, a sound that lifts the dusk into something alive. This strain, it's not a breaking, it's a bending, a shaping into something new. You're growing even now. And then she unfolds that memory fully, the one she's hinted at all along. "That night by the lake," she says, "when I told you you're enough, I meant it then, and I mean it now. You sat there, shoulders tight from the day, and I saw you let go, just for a moment, as the water sang its song. That's still in you, the ability to release, to let this cozy weight drape over you and ease every knot." The revelation lands soft, a key turning in a lock, and you feel it, the pressure melting, the strain transforming into a warmth that holds rather than binds. Her voice deepens, rich with wisdom. Time doesn't take from you, it refines. The strain of providing isn't a loss, it's a mark of what you've dared to love. Resilience isn't standing rigid, it's swaying with the wind, like those trees out there, roots deep and branches free. You're not alone in this. Every man who's cared for others feels that echo, that universal pulse of giving and growth. It's quiet, slow, like the moss spreading over stone, turning hard days into something enduring. The sensory threads weave back, the cool railing, the earthy air, the shifting light grounding her words in the scene, fostering peace. "You're enough, always have been," she finishes, her tone a prolonged, soothing balm, lifting your spirit into hope. The night has settled now, a deep quilt of stars spilling across the sky, their light a faint shimmer on the porch where you stand. She's still beside you, her presence a soft breath against the stillness, but it's gentler now, fading like the last glow of amber on the horizon. The air carries the faint rustle of leaves brushing the ground, a sound that drifts away with each slow gust, while the warmth of the breeze lingers on your skin, a final caress from the day. The stream's murmur hums low in the distance, its rhythm a lullaby threading through the dark, and the scent of moss rises once more, earthy and calm, wrapping you in serenity. "We've walked a long way tonight," she whispers, her voice a tender echo against the wood, the creak of the railing a quiet farewell. From the weight you've held, to the memories we've unfolded, to this peace draping over you now, it's been a journey, hasn't it? Her words linger, expansive yet brief, tracing the arc of all you felt, inviting a closure that settles into your bones. The stars above blink softly, the grass below sways in hushed waves, and the world feels wide yet close, a tranquil expanse tied to those kind words she's woven around you. She steps back, her coat brushing the porch one last time, a sound so faint it's nearly a dream. "Rest now," she says, her tone a warm goodbye melting into the night. Let this cozy weight stay with you, easing every muscle, holding you as you've held so much. Her presence fades, a soft breath dissolving into the breeze, leaving you with the cool touch of the railing, the distant ripple of water, and a stillness that feels like home. The scene holds you there, serene and whole, as the leaves rustle once more, a lingering whisper of her care. Before you go, tell me of a moment that lingers in your heart, a time when someone's words wrapped around you like a blanket. Share it below if you'd like. For now, good night, and let this peace carry you forward.